Yeah, as the director of Church and Society of the Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, I have a concern about the state of the Nigerian nation and then the Catholic Church in Nigeria. One would ask, what is the role of the Church in a nearly failed state? Nigeria is currently a failed state. Failed in the sense that the government has lost the focus, has lost in its duties of protecting the life and property of the citizens. That the duty bearers are not at their duty posts. And we, the result, the citizens, will experience poverty and all sorts of oddities. Gunmen operations, non-gunmen operations, kidnapping and banditry, conflicts everywhere, mass poverty among the people. And so when that is the case, one would ask, what is then the role of the church in the midst of such a society? Because the church is the conscience of the nation. What does the church do and what can the church do? Because the church is within society and has a responsibility for the well-being of its members. The Catholic Church in Nigeria is a formidable organization that has impacted on the life of Nigerian citizens in several ways. From the point of view of education, health and family and life, justice and peace, the Church has contributed enormously to the overall well-being of Nigerian citizens. We cannot calculate the number of primary, nursery, secondary universities established by the Catholic Church in Nigeria to enhance quality education among Nigerian citizens. The same is true of health institutions and facilities spread across the 56 dialects of the country and over the 36 states of the Federation, including the capital city territory, Abuja, where it is evident, abundantly evident, that the Church has invested enormously in the establishment of hospitals and facilities for the health well-being of the citizens. In other areas of life, it is also evident that the Church is not asleep at her duty posts. And therefore, when one talks about the Church in the midst of society, then the Church becomes then a yeast that a living society that makes it possible for people to have and understand how the society works, and then to understand their responsibilities in the making of society, such that through her teachings, prophetic teachings, her prayers, and the celebration of the sacraments, the Church contributes enormously to the overall well-being of the people. The Church is such a body that is organized from the head to the toes, coordinated activities from the bishop to the least person in the parish across the country. There's order, there's discipline, there's good orientation, there is a firm belief that God is always with his people. And with this teaching, it becomes then another instrument of support that encourages people in the difficulties of their lives to look forward to the future with optimism. And that's one great thing the Church does, that it encourages people to be people of hope and faith, not to be dissipated, not to resign to faith and fatalism, but to cast their belief in that unseen hand that shapes the destiny of all. God is present among his people. It's a wonderful belief system among the faithful that gives them strength and encouragement in the midst of adversity, darkness, and lack of orientations. And finally, the Church believes that the future of Nigeria is bright and great, that all the efforts of good men and women everywhere, people of goodwill from all corners, will not be in vain. And on the strength of this belief, we are looking to the future with great optimism and hope, and believing that when each and every one contributes from his or her little resources, we will be making the best of our opportunity and contributing to the dynamic growth of our country that we expect to be the giant of Africa that uses what God has given, enormous material and human resources. Shalom.